friends, today I'm gonna do my most anticipated releases for the final quarter of 2019. So we're here again, we're doing most anticipated releases for October, November, and December. Nothing makes me realize how fast time passes as these most anticipated videos. It is always wild to me. As you can tell, I am in my new location. I have moved. This is not the greatest setup, but for now it's just the easiest setup. So things might change around. I'm not really sure, but for now we're just filming on my fucking floor and you can see my fucking kitchen and I don't even fucking care. As long as I can sit in front of a camera and talk to you, that is all that matters, and it's easy to set up again. But yeah, we're just gonna get into my list of books that I am most anticipating for the final quarter of this year. And it's just, as always, a very shortened list. I actually thought that this one wouldn't be so big because usually November and December are rather like quiet publishing months, but October itself is so fucking full of books that I'm so anticipating. I still just had to make quite a dent, and I think at the end I have 19 books on my list. So let's get into those. On October 1st we have Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. I wish I would have already read this, but I just have not, because I have not been reading at all. But still, I am super excited for this to come out because it is Julie Murphy's first middle grade. It has a fat main character, which is an on voices aspect. I know it has some queer elements in there, which Julie Murphy is definitely queer as well. So I think that this is going to be such a good, important book that's out in this world, and I definitely hope that it's one of the first things that I read in October. Also on October 1st, we have Cryswall by Nina Varela. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I am currently reading it. I am just a very slow reader because there's so many other things that I love doing at the moment, but I am in the middle of it. I read like 20% of it so far and I'm really enjoying it. I definitely think that this could be, I mean, the potential to up is always there, but I think it's definitely going to be at least a 4-star. It is a YA fantasy with a female-female romance that is enemies to lovers. Yes, fuck yes. And I'm just very much looking forward to continuing it. Even though I am slow with it, I, again, am still really enjoying it. And it's the first book that I picked up in a month, so that means a lot, that I got like 20% into it already. Another October 1st release is The Memory Thief by Lauren Manzi. This is a YA fantasy, and I just know that in this world, memories are kind of like a currency, and there's certain people that have the special ability to like steal memories and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but it's just one of those books where I am so intrigued by this concept. I don't really want to know more. Like, I want to pick this book up just for the world. I don't really care about any of the other elements, and so that is all that I personally know about it and want to know about it, but it sounds fucking amazing. Another one on October 1st is The Library of the Unwritten by AJ Hackwith. This is an adult fantasy book, and it is about this place in hell where all the unwritten books are stored, I guess, which I just love that concept so much. And it's another one that's really intriguing and sounds really unique that I didn't really need to know more. I just think this sounds absolutely fascinating and I cannot wait to read this. And the final October 1st release, like already October 1st in itself is such a huge publishing day, is The Last Two Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. Now, this has been on my radar for a really long time. This is a YA contemporary with queer elements, and it is a Shakespeare retelling, which obviously immediately attracts my attention. I've been hearing only amazing things about this book for like the past half year. Like, I feel like the first person that I ever saw talk about them having read an arc of this immediately said, this is fucking amazing, y'all need this on your radar. And since then it's only been positive things, and not just like when you look it up there's positive things. It's like when people read this, it's so good that they fucking shout about it. So I am so pumped for this. I do not actually care what it's like actually about. Then on October 8th, we have Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. I don't really know too much about this, but I'm super intrigued by it because I really loved Alexandra Christo's To Kill a Kingdom, and it just sounds like a really interesting YA fantasy. I'm just pumped to read more by this author, and even though it doesn't say anything on Goodreads, I definitely think that this is queer as well. Like, I feel like when I hear people talk about it, they say usually, like, I feel like I just hear the word queer around this book as well. So I'm guessing it's queer, which makes it even more exciting. But even if it's not, I'm still going to read it because, again, I'm just very interested in reading more stuff by the author. Then on October 15th, we have Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. As you can see, I have a physical arc of this, and I do want to try and read this before it comes out, but I'm not really sure how my reading mood is gonna evolve in the next 2 weeks. But obviously that would be the perfect, thing to happen if I would actually read it before release. But I don't know too much about it. I just know that it is a YA fantasy. I think it has a steampunk element, and I also think that it is queer. I want to say that it has ace representation in there or something like just on the A spectrum. So that's really, really exciting. But I'm in general just always here for queer fantasy, and I just absolutely cannot wait to pick this up. Then also on October 15th, we have Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker and Wendy Zhu. This is a graphic novel. It is like a YA fantasy graphic novel, and I have already read this because I had an arc of this from NetGalley, and I really, really loved it. Gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is really diverse. It features a romance between a female witch and a non-binary werewolf, and then there is a kind of side relationship that's female between 2 older women, which is fucking amazing. And the main character, the witch, is also hard of hearing. Oh, they're both Chinese American as well. But all of this diversity is obviously amazing, and I'm so very happy, but it was also just a really, really wonderful, enjoyable, lovely graphic novel that I would highly recommend, especially if you're looking for a good read for the spooky season that's not too spooky. It's not spooky at all. It just has the spooky vibes. Another one on October 15th is The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. This is a YA fantasy that I don't remember the specifics about. I just know that I was incredibly pumped for this because it really, really reminded me of the plot of a dance performance that I was in a couple of years ago. Like, my school always used to do these like really elaborate big performances that really had like a fairy tale kind of just a theme to it and just very intense stories. We wouldn't just do like, oh, let's do like fucking Nutcracker, or let's just do like random performances. It would always just be this huge thing. And when I first read through this plot, I was just immediately sold because it just reminds me so much of one of those performances, and I just always really loved the storylines. Like, that was always one of my not to get too much on a tangent, but one of my favorite memories as a child was when my dance teacher would sit us down. Like, we had a performance like every 2 years because, again, they would be very big, and when she would sit us down and like tell us what the next performance was going to be, what the plot of it was going to be, that is like so many good memories attached to that. It would always be so exciting. So I think I immediately just had so many good feelings about this. I don't know if it's actually going to be anything close to the actual plot of that dance performance, but it very much sounds like it, so it has me excited. I have heard so many amazing things about Rin Chupeco. Melanie really loves Rin Chupeco, and I can't believe I still haven't read anything by Rin Chupeco. So it is about damn time. I think this is rather, it has 400 pages, so that's fine, but I still don't really think I'm actually going to read it before release, but hopefully still in October. And yeah, this is queer as well. Then on October 16th, we have the second volume in the Shades of Magic graphic novels, Night of Knives. Now, straight up, I'm putting this on here because it feels wrong not to put this on here. But at this point, I'm not even sure if I am gonna pre-order this and even get a physical copy, because I just simply did not love the first volume, and I just especially don't love the art. Like, the story was great, but I didn't love the art, and I'm just not sure if I want to spend the money on the physical graphic novel if I don't love the art. I am definitely gonna read it for sure, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's coming out. Like, if I wasn't doing this video, I probably would not have remembered that it's even coming out in the middle of October. So then on October 29th, we have Beyond the Black Door by Adrienne Strickland. This is a YA fantasy that has an ace protagonist, and it's just a super interesting world. I think the main character's mom has this ability to, like, something about the souls of people, and I think it has something to do with she can like see into the soul of people, or like steal people's souls when she like sleeps with them. And I think, the main character has this ability as well, but she's asexual, and she kind of comes to terms with that in this novel. And then, I don't know, it just sounds so unique, so fascinating. I absolutely cannot wait for it. So far, I've heard good things about it. I haven't really seen many reviews by people that are actually asexual, so I definitely want to check that out before I actually dive into this book. But what I've heard from it so far sounds fucking amazing, and again, so unique. And also on October 29th, we have All the Things We Do in the Dark by Sandra Mitchell. I think this is a YA mystery, but I just know that it is definitely queer. I'm just really excited to read something by Sandra Mitchell because Sandra Mitchell is the person who edited the All Out anthology. It was like an anthology of like queer people throughout history, and I fucking loved that anthology. I think that's actually like my favorite anthology, and so I am so pumped to read a full-length novel by Sandra Mitchell. I just have a lot of faith in her because of, you know, editing that anthology, and so I'm just very pumped. I have an arc for this, so maybe I'll read it. Another one that comes out on October 29th is Grave Maidens by Kelly Kuhn. Now, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I know that I'm very excited about this. I know that I've searched for this like 5 million times on Edelweiss and on NetGalley to request an arc of it, but at this point, I've kind of forgotten what it's about. I definitely know it's a YA fantasy, and I think it was a little bit like this weird mix of like Three Dark Crowns and maybe The Selection. I don't know, it just sounded very intriguing and just exactly like the kind of YA fantasy that I just really love and enjoy, and that's all I need to know. Also, I'm not gonna lie, the cover is definitely a reason as well. I think the cover is gorgeous. Then on November 5th, we have Tears of Frost by Brie Barton. This is the sequel to Heart of Thorns and the second book in that trilogy. And I really, really loved Heart of Thorns. I'm not sure, I didn't love the first half, I think. Or did I not love the second half? I loved one of the halves. I didn't love as much as the other one. But I'm still like just so pumped for it because it was just one of those books that I read and again, loved definitely one half of it and was like, this has so much potential and really, really interesting world building. So I am so pumped for the sequel. I have been trying to get my hands on an arc of it for months, like long before I got into my slumpy BTS phase, but I don't think there are actually any arcs for it. So guess I just have to wait until it comes out, which at this point is obviously fine since I'm not reading my arcs anyway, but this is definitely one that I would have read months ago because I am so excited. Also on November 5th is Girls of Storm and Shadows by Natasha Young. This is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have not really heard amazing things about this sequel so far. I'm still putting it on this list because I'm still really excited for the sequel and I'm still really looking forward to it, and I still will probably maybe not pre-order it, but like read it as soon as possible, maybe through my library. But I am definitely trying to adjust my expectations, especially because a lot of the people that I've seen not love this were people that loved the first one more than I did. So it could be a thing where I maybe already have different expectations for the sequel and will actually like it more than those people. But I'm rather thinking that I will also not love it, or that there's a chance that I will also not love it because I already wasn't as in love with the first one as a lot of other people were. And so I'm definitely a little bit scared about this one. There's some books where you end up disappointed and you're like, that's fine. But with this one, if I end up disappointed with this one, I think it's really, really just gonna crush my heart. And so I'm just trying to keep high hopes while simultaneously not having too high expectations. So we'll see how that goes. And finally on November 5th, we have A Sisters of Shadow and Light by Sarah B. Larson. As you can see, I have a physical arc of this, another one that Melanie sent me. And yeah, it's just been on my most anticipated list basically the whole year. I've definitely been looking forward to this for a really, really long time, and I'm super excited to have a physical arc of it. I honestly don't remember what it's about, and I honestly don't really care. I know that it is like obviously about sisters. It's a YA fantasy. That's it. Then on November 19th, we have probably my very, very most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and that is Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the final book in the Fog of the Air trilogy, and I just cannot believe that it's happening so soon. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like even if this book had still come out in January as it was originally planned, that would still be so soon. But now that this is even coming out earlier than thought, I'm just like, I feel like 0% ready, like 0% ready. And I mean, I only fell in love with this whole series like in December of last year when I read The Wicked King. I didn't love The Cruel Prince, even when I reread it. I only fell in love with this when I read The Wicked King. So I'm just like, I'm not ready. And when I read The Wicked King in December, I was like, oh my God, that's so rude. Like, I have to wait so long for the final book to come out. Why did I decide to read an arc of this? But now the day is upon us and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And I already know that this is a day that I have off. So I can assure you, I will read this book probably even in one sitting. It's like super, super short. And I read The Wicked King in like 2 sittings because it's just so easy to read. So I don't know, man. Midnight, I think I'm just gonna go hard and then I'll sleep for the rest of the day. But like, I'm so excited. Then on December 3rd, we have A Dangerous Alliance by Jenica Cohen. This is a YA historical fiction, which has me very excited because these days I read so little historical fiction. So whenever there is an exciting historical fiction book coming out, I'm like here for it immediately. And I also have an arc of this, and I am definitely assuming that by the time this comes out, I will definitely be back in a better reading space. So I'm guessing that I will have read this before release, and I just absolutely cannot wait for it. And finally, also on December 3rd, we have Reverie by Ryan LaSala. This is actually a book that got pushed up. I think it was originally supposed to come out in January. This is a YA fantasy. It's another one that has queer elements, so I'm immediately sold. I am 99% sure the queer aspect is Own Voices, and I've heard so many good things about the author on Twitter. Apparently the author is really great on Twitter, so maybe I should follow him myself. But I don't know, this really just intrigued me from the beginning. I think whenever there's something YA, queer, has a good cover, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about anything else. Like, let me quickly read through the synopsis. Sounds fine. Okay, put it on my TBR. I actually have an arc of this as well, and I would love to, add to the hype around it. So yeah, these are all of my most anticipated releases for October, November, and December. Again, just with how my life is going and just with how my reading is going, I don't really know how many of those I'm actually gonna read in the next couple of months, how many, things I'm actually gonna pre-order. I rarely pre-order books anyway. I usually pre-order maybe like 1 a month is already a lot. But I definitely obviously will read Queen of Nothing immediately, and everything else we'll just see. But let me know if there's anything on this list that you are super excited about as well. And yeah, I make new videos pretty irregularly at this point, so click subscribe to never miss anything and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye. Just gotta be honest.